Sally Muir and Joanna Osborne met 40 years ago because they both owned knitting machines. Sally's brother introduced them. They didn't know each other, and yet they started a business together anyway. A year later, Princess Diana was photographed wearing one of their jumpers. They're still not entirely sure how it reached her, but 40 years on, they've wound the knitwear down, but they're still working together. Sally paints dogs and Joanna makes ceramic dogs. And every other May, they fill Joanna's house in Brighton with the work of some of the most interesting dog artists in the country and open the doors to anyone who wants to come in. This is a short bonus episode. My guest today is Sally Muir, one half of Muir and Osborne, and one of the UK's best-known painters of dogs. We talk about what a painter sees when she looks at a dog, why galgos keep pulling her back to Spain, and why the Brighton Dog Show, which opens on the 2nd of May, is worth a weekend of your time. Welcome to Just a Dog Podcast. I'm your host, Nadine. Let's begin. Sally, I'm so happy to have you on the podcast. Thank you so much for joining me. I usually start by asking my guests, did you have dogs when you were growing up? And how did your love for dogs begin?
Yes, we always had dogs when I was a child. My parents, before I was born, had standard poodles. And then from poodles, we moved on to Afghan hounds in the 70s. Absolutely bonkers. Very, very beautiful, quite dim, very untrainable. They were kind of wild. And then my parents moved on to cats for some reason. So then I'd left home and I got my own dog when Joe and I first started our business, knitting business. And I got Fanny from Battersea Dogs Home. We had a rescue greyhound who somebody I was at art school with had found going through her bins, and she brought her into college, and I just fell in love with this greyhound.
I'm sorry, in the bins?
Going through her bins. You know, he was going through her rubbish bins.
Right.
So she had taken him in. He was filthy. And then she washed him, and he's this beautiful, beautiful blonde greyhound. And she used to bring him into college where you weren't allowed dogs. And she would be sort of chased around college by the security guards. He would say, "Have you seen a dog?" And we'd all go, "Oh, no, I haven't seen a dog." And she said, would I look after him for the weekend? Because I was so in love with him. And then we just kind of kept him. She couldn't really cope with him. And it turned out that he'd eaten her sofa, her carpets. He completely destroyed her flat, basically, because he couldn't be left alone at all. And our Dalmatian Dottie was completely in love with him by then too. She just used to sit washing him for hours on end. And then he died very young. And so it's just got Peggy now. He's now 13, actually.
Wow.
And is a bit, I think she's a little bit demented. She goes into rooms and sort of barks. In fact, she barks all the time, barks at nothing, wanders about. She's very, very sweet in her old age. Little bit incontinent, actually quite a lot incontinent.
Oh, bless her. It's so hard, isn't it? But you've been through this journey before, multiple times, it seems.
I know.
Gosh. As far as I understand it, you had a career in fashion, which is that the kind of like after art school, did you immediately go into business with Joanna?
No, I didn't go to art school at that stage. I applied but got rejected by art school at the sort of normal age, like 18, I suppose 17, 18. And so I went into publishing and bookshops and things. And then I always made things. And then I bought a knitting machine, and my brother said, "You should meet my friend Joanna, because she's also got a knitting machine." And so I didn't know her at all. And we got in touch, and I went round there, and we just decided that we'd start a business together with no idea how that would work. But we just decided that we'd do it. And we sort of did. I was working in a bookshop at the time, so I gave in my notice. And Jo actually knew how to knit, and she was kind of doing it in quite a small way. So we just rang up a shop that sold jumpers and said, "We're knitwear designers. Would you like to see our work?" And made 6 jumpers and took them round there. And then they ordered a few. So we just sort of started, and it grew very organically.
So was this a very successful business? Is it still ongoing?
It's not really ongoing anymore. It was going for about 40 years. It had peaks and troughs. And our peak was Princess Diana, wearing one of our jumpers when she was engaged. So that was one of our highlights. And so it kind of, it expanded and contracted as we had children, as we put more energy into it. So yeah, so it went on for a long, long time.
Princess Diana, is that the jumper with the sheep? Is it sheep?
Yeah, sheep all over it, and then one black sheep.
Very
Everyone
cute.
now thinks.
How did that happen? Did she order through your Instagram page? I don't think Instagram
No,
was around back then.
Didn't exist. No, we don't know how she got it. It's very weird. I mean, we were very small. We think by looking back through our, not very many orders, that possibly one of the bridesmaids' mothers gave it to her. Not quite sure how we deduced that. No, we've never known how she got it.
So what about your journey with art then? How did you go from jumpers and knitting to becoming a person who draws dogs?
So I did finally get to art school, going to the art school that I originally applied for, which is in Bath Art School. I think when we were going through one of our shrinking periods with the business, I just thought I really always wanted to go to art school, and I could go now as a mature student. So I took myself off to Bath, did foundation, then went on to... I then had small children, so I couldn't really go any further afield. I went to the local art school as a part-time, which was great. 5 years was really, I loved it. And then I painted my children a lot when I was at art school. No dogs at all. And then kind of afterwards, I thought I should, to make a living out of this, I've got to take commissions, paint people's children, do something that somebody's going to want. I can't just paint and hope that somebody discovers me. So I started painting children, and then occasionally I get asked to paint their hamster, rabbit, dog, cat. Anyhow, I kind of found I preferred doing the dogs to the children, and they sort of took over. And then it was sort of slightly accidental. I just moved over into dogs and really, really loved it in a way that I didn't really love doing children.
How did you know that there was a market for it?
I think it was social media, actually. I know that it's got a very bad name in many ways, but I did a thing on Facebook, Dog a Day. So I posted a dog every day for a year. And I think that was what got me going, really, because apart from sort of doing something consistently so people would know that there was another one coming the next day, it sort of made me try out different things, try out different media, and it made me always need to do something different, I suppose. So it was very good practice. And then it kind of built up a following. And then I did a book from that. Yeah. I mean, Joe and I had done a lot of knitting books. We did Knit Your Own Dog, Knit Your Own Cat, Zoo, Pet. We did a lot. And the same publishers said, do you want to do a book of your paintings? Pavilion, they're called. So I did a dog a day.
I think you have a very unique style. It's really, really beautiful. Did you develop that over time? Did you start in the same way that you draw now? Like, how has that evolved over time?
I think it's got more confident, actually. When I think of the drawing that I sent in to apply for art college when I didn't get in, it was very wispy and hesitant, lots of sort of uncertain lines. And I think I was so determined to have a bit more confidence with drawing that I think from quite early on, I've had a much stronger line. And yeah, I suppose things just evolve as you go along. You find a way of doing things that your own way. So you start doing things and some things work and other things don't work. And then you find your kind of path through it.
Did you shape that according to what the market wanted or what you preferred?
I think what I preferred, really. I mean, there wasn't really that much of a market for me at that time. I was just kind of doing it.
And when did you start your 365 project?
About 12 years ago, maybe.
Oh, is it that long ago? I don't know why I was under the impression it was a COVID project or something.
No, I did a different one in COVID.
Oh, did you? Okay, so I'm not totally off.
The second one never, it's just here in notebooks. I just did the view out of my window, and then COVID came along and I was stuck with the view out of my window. I was always doing dogs as well. So it's a side project.
As a person who draws dogs, you probably have a different way of seeing them, a different way of looking at them. When you draw them, what do you hope to capture, or what do you focus on?
I think I quite often want to capture the whole position, the sort of stance of it, because I think the way they're standing and the way they hold themselves say a lot about them. So it's not all about just the eyes or, the face or whatever. I think the sort of position of the body says quite a lot about them.
And what's the first thing that you look for when you look at a dog?
It's very weird because you can see a whole lot of photographs of a dog, and then there's one that is the perfect one, and you absolutely know it, but it's very hard to quite know what that thing is that makes that the right one, but you just know it when you see it.
And when people look at your drawings, what do you want them to know? Do you want them to feel the way that you feel when you draw them? What are you trying to communicate?
I think it's sort of communicating what we all feel about dogs, what we all feel about a particular dog. I think it's that sort of fellow feeling about dogs, because dog people are always the best people. When you meet somebody, you're out walking with your dog, you immediately have a rapport with somebody because you've got a dog.
That's so true. I always end up talking to people on the dog walks with my doona. So going back to that feeling that you want to convey, that connection that you share with other people, what's the dog that comes to mind when you think of that kind of deep, profound, I guess, appreciation or love?
I love any long-nosed dog, any long dog. I love all those, which is not the way that I thought I'd go with dogs, because my first dog was this kind of hairy mongrel, and that was always the sort, and I still love those sort of dogs and love painting those dogs. But I do love a long nose. I love the galgos, for instance. There's just something about the galgos that just gets to you.
They're so graceful, so beautiful. There's something so special about galgos. With the dogs that you draw, would you say the majority are whippets?
I draw a lot of dogs actually that look more like Joe's dogs. So the sort of hairy lurcher Bedlington Whippet cross. I've never had one of those dogs, but they're also very appealing. There's something very touching about them. They tend to be quite sort of fragile.
Yeah. Yeah, there is something wispy about them. I recently read that you have been to Spain.
Well, I've been many times actually over to the Galgos del Sol. I went about 10 years ago for the first time because I didn't know anything about galgos, and then I read something about them. I saw a photograph of them all crammed into a sort of cage. Then I did a print to raise money, and I asked somebody which was a good charity, and they said, oh, try Galgos del Sol, they're really good. So I got in touch with them and said, can I raise money for this? And she said, Tina, who runs it, who is actually a local girl from Bath. Yeah, I know, weird, lives in Spain. She said, yes, come and stay. Come over anytime. I've got a flat that you could stay in. So I said, yes. I went over and stayed in her flat, and it was before they built their lovely new centre, so it was all much more, they had a sort of finca which was a quite run down place, quite ratty, and the dogs were being beautifully looked after. It wasn't a purpose built centre, and they just let me wander about drawing the dogs, and the galgos would just be into they'd be in my face, eating my paints, licking my water, stealing my paintbrushes. And because they were all sort of running free, it was just lovely. I loved it. And then since then, I've been back lots of times. And this year, she said, will you come over? And I've painted various things around the centre. When they built the new centre, I painted with Lorraine, who's one of the people doing the dog show. We did murals on the education centre. And I've been back and painted the puppy block and Anyhow, they had this guy who has been working there for 6 months, and he's an artist, Rafa. They said, would I come over? And he and I would do murals in the kennels, because they decided that the kennels needed cheering up for the dogs. And so we kind of did alternate kennels, and we didn't get to do that many. I think I did about 6. I think we did about 10 between us. But it was lovely in there painting the kennel. Again, the dogs were right in your face. They were either sort of hiding from me in the back, or they were right in my face, joining in, eating everything, stealing. I've got a lovely bit of film of this dog who stole a piece of paper, and he's just so happy that he's got a piece of paper. He's dancing around the kennel with it. And then they really seem to enjoy them. You could see, I've got photos of them staring at these little drawings that I did. So yeah, I always have a wonderful time there.
And the weather helps as well, doesn't it?
Yes, I went in February. It was wonderful. I kept sending photos back, I'm putting on factor 50.
I remember seeing the pictures and just thinking, oh, I really wish I could go on a holiday. If I didn't have Duna, I would do a lot more volunteering abroad. I think it's a really special thing to be able to do, like combine a
Yeah.
holiday and some good at the same time, or like you, like volunteer your
Yes.
skills.
It's amazing. Yes, all the people who come over, I mean, they do quite often go back with a dog. All have lunch together, so you meet all these people from all over the world who come for a week. It's quite hard work, I think.
Yeah.
I mean, what I'm doing is not that hard work, but what they're doing is quite hard work, but they all seem to absolutely love it.
So you're looking at the broader body of work in terms of like your drawings. What is the purpose or the aim of those drawings? Do you believe that they have the power to change perception? Do you want to change perception at all? Do you like what is your do you have a goal other than expressing yourself through the medium of drawing or painting?
Well, I think it's sort of two parts because I do lots of commissions and I do my own work, and that's as we were talking before about communicating with people who feel the way that you do about dogs. And then there's the Galgo thing, which is sort of separate, which I do feel that's more of a crusade, really. And with that, I am trying to bring them to more people's attentions, I suppose. So there's kind of two separate things going on there.
I see. That's amazing. It's wonderful that you do that. Do you think it's likely you'll be doing a book about galgos to raise awareness going forward?
I've really tried, but the publishers are not. I think it's because of this thing of not enough people know. Yeah, it's too small. I've really tried. I've had an exhibition of just galgos, but and I've certainly got enough material for it, but it's just finding, it's not maybe as commercial as other subjects. It's just one breed. But I think it's still, I'd love to do it.
Yeah, I think you should. It would be really interesting to see if conversely, like creating the book and increasing sales would then increase awareness of the plight of the
Yes,
galgos.
yes. There is a march. Have you been on the march? They have a Spanish hunting dog march in
I wasn't
London.
able to go this year, but Gemma and Adva, I had them on the podcast a couple of months ago with
Oh,
free
did
Spanish
you?
hounds. Yes.
Three Spanish hounds. That's it. I didn't go on this one. I've only been once, but I was ill this year because I was
Mhm.
going to be a steward. I was very excited. I was going to get a high vis vest and everything, but then I was ill and couldn't go. But it's good, but still, most people don't really know about it.
No. And also a lot of people look at my Galga and they think that she's a greyhound.
Yeah,
She's much smaller than a typical greyhound.
yeah,
But yeah, bless them. I think there's a long way to go. But considering that there are so many different things happening in the world,
exactly.
it's really, yeah, it's really hard to get people's attention. And leading into the Brighton Dog Show, what I find interesting is the creating experiences around the things that we love and appreciate and want to celebrate. And so the Brighton Dog Show is the first time I heard about it was actually about 3-4 years ago. How long has the show been going for? What started it? What is it for those that might not know?
It's been going for, I think it's 10 years, but Jo does it every other year just because it's such a mammoth thing. She has to sort of take her whole house apart. So she's done it. I think this is the fifth. So yeah, every other year. And she started it, I think, because of I'm rather talking for her here, but anyhow, I am going to Brighton open houses, which is a huge thing. And really thinking it would be a good idea to have something that's very specialist. So that's why she thought of the dog show. We'd done all these dog books and dog knitting, and so there was and I was painting dogs, and she was making ceramic dogs. So it seemed like a good idea.
When I stumbled upon the Brighton Dog Show, I was like, these are my people. This is exactly what I was looking for. It's so, so beautiful. And it's so beautifully curated as well. What do you know about how the artists are identified and selected for the show?
It's a lot of them are people that we've kind of known for a while over the years. There's like Lorraine Corrigan, who's done it since it started. She's a Whippet friend of mine from Bath, actually. We used to have Whippet Wednesdays together. She does the papier-mâché dogs. Some people are found from Instagram. There was somebody, actually, the person, Lucy Amos, who's doing the jewellery this year, she came to the show last time wearing a beautiful little pendant, tiny little hand-painted pendant, which one of the other people who was there spotted. So that's how, so it's kind of people that you hear about, people that you might see at a craft fair or something, bit of Instagram, bit of just knowing people. So it's quite a mixture.
What is going to be different between 2 years ago and the show this year?
Well, there's quite a few new people. You have to have, there's a sort of hardcore, but equally you have to have, Joe's bringing in new people. There's someone called Nikki Nunn who does beautiful pen ink drawings. Harriet Lowther, do you know her?
Absolutely. Who doesn't know her?
Well, exactly. Yes. Fabulous Harriet she's bringing loads of stuff. Bags, prints, books, loads and loads of stuff. And I think
made by Harriet,
Made by Harriet, exactly. And there's Eli Inks, who's doing tattoos this year, which is a very new thing. Yes. Never had that before. There's a new sculpture. There's various people doing kind of small sculptures. I tell you who there is also, there's Holy Smoke. Have you come across her? Absolutely beautiful, really worth having a look.
What's her medium?
Well, she used to do, it's quite hard to know what it is actually. It's almost like calico that has been sort of frayed, so you get the eyebrows and the fuzzy bits. But I think possibly she's not doing that this time. I think she may have changed. I think she might be doing straight sculpture. I'm not absolutely sure because I haven't seen them yet.
Dog sculptures.
But, yeah.
Oh, yes. Vintage textiles.
Yes.
Oh, that's so beautiful.
They're really beautiful. Yeah. No, she did it about three times ago, I think. I've got one of practically everything, apart from the really enormous ones. So I've got one of hers, which is just stunning.
Is your home the same as Joanna's house?
Yeah, in that we've all got the same. Yeah, we've got the same dog artists in it. Pretty much. Yeah, mine is much more crowded and untidy.
For people who are also interested in collecting art, where do you recommend they go or look to find unique and special pieces?
Dog show.
The dog show is number one, of course it is.
Yeah,
but
that's because they're all in one place.
Yeah.
I tell you what is good is actually those charity auctions, like Project Galgo do one, don't they? They do an art auction. The Galgos del Sol do art auctions. They're very good for dog art, and they have a lot of really good people doing those. Mm-hmm. And they often, of course, go for. Sometimes they go for mad amounts of money, and sometimes they go for less. So it's slightly all over the place, the pricing, but they're a good place for if you can't get to the dog show. They're a good place for dog art.
Why should people go to the dog show?
I don't think there's anything like it anywhere in the world. A woman came from America last year to come and, study it. So maybe there is another one like it in the world, but there wasn't anything like it in the world where you get such concentrated, high quality selection of dog art. I think high quality is probably the key thing there, and varied too.
You can actually go and buy some of the items there. Is everything for sale?
Everything.
I didn't actually know that. I thought part of it was just an appreciation of dog art and getting everybody together type of thing. But no, this is
it's a selling thing. A lot of people just come because I think all the open houses, people just go around looking at them all. And Joe's husband, Orlando, does lovely teas and cakes. So people can just come and have a look, have tea and cake. You don't have to buy anything. But everything is for sale. It's part of the Brighton open houses, which is, I don't know if you've ever been to it, but there's masses of them all over Brighton, and it's people showing their paintings, their jewellery, their whatever. Yes, so it's part of that, which is just a giant art exhibition. It's appreciation of dogs. Just generally, I don't think the open houses has any particular agenda. But the dogs is just love of dogs. If you love dogs, I think that's the strap line is if you love dogs, it's not a dogmatic, to put it in an apt way, exhibition. It's not a teaching exhibition. It's just a celebrating exhibition.
I'm really looking forward to it. And do people need to buy tickets? Can they just show up?
Just show up and bring their dogs. Dogs welcome. There's dog biscuits. Orlando, apart from making fabulous cakes, also makes dog biscuits. It's at 33 Silwood Road. It's on from 11 till 5, and it's on every weekend in May, except for the last one. So 4 weekends in May, starting on the 2nd, and also on 2 bank holiday Mondays. And everybody who loves dogs should come and bring their dogs. I think dog people are just interesting, and I want to know dog people. And there's always people who have fascinating stories about their dogs. When you come to the dog show, everybody has got stories about their dogs. If they haven't got their dog with them, they've got their dog on their phone. They want to show you a photo and tell you what their dog's little ways. So I think there is there's just a common feeling amongst dog people that is very life enhancing.
Yeah, that's so true. Have you observed people as they walk into the home and like how their expression changes or how their behavior changes?
They really react. They really react well. It's just lovely.
Thank you so much for coming on. And good luck with the dog show. And I guess I will see you there.
I'll see you. Thank you, Nadine. Bye.
Bye.